Today we are visiting another farmer who works with Mr. Dale Gracious. This farmer used to grow pepper some years ago and stopped and decided to grow other crops. But now he's coming back to growing pepper. In the season when we visited, he was just completing harvesting tomatoes. He had sold off tomatoes. He was in his final harvest. So we are visiting his garden. His garden is still young, but there is a lot we can learn from this garden too.
Mulimi waffe gye yaliwa ye mulimi waffe atulambuza wano.
Well done. Thank you for the work you've done here. Thank you for being creative, staying in this forest just so you can do this work. Now, for you to spray this grass, did you spray when the pepper is already in the ground or before it came? I sprayed on Friday while pepper was in. Don't you damage the pepper? How do you spray carefully in a way that pepper does not get affected? I'm careful, just the way you can see. So he sprayed while the pepper was already in the garden, but the grass had overgrown. So he still sprayed the grass while pepper was still in. And he did it in such a way that he did not affect his pepper. I don't advise you to try this, but he's been doing this for a long time, so he can take such risks. So we asked if he used a rope just to make sure that he has a straight line, because his spacing was so accurate. He said he grows tomatoes, so he can use the eyes to get the accurate spacing. So in this garden, I used fertilizers. I've just applied fertilizers. I used dab, 1 bottle top on each plant. It's actually 10 days after me applying that fertilizer here. Are you the one who sprayed yourself? Yes, I spray for myself. I have another garden the other side, but for it I used chicken droppings for fertilizers. This one, I used dab for fertilizers.
Okay.
So Mr. Mubi is taking us to visit other farmers who have been growing, and he's going to introduce himself to us. I used to grow pepper about 15 years ago, but now Mr. Dale is making us desire to grow pepper again, because those days we could benefit something, but we used to make a lot of losses. We would make so many losses when there is no market, and we end up pouring what we have harvested. My major job is I'm a farmer and I'm also a business person. I majorly grow tomatoes and also take other plants and take them and harvest other plants buy other plants from other farmers and take them to the market. my journey in growing pepper started a long time ago, but I had stopped. So now I'm just starting again because uncle told me that this is now profitable. He even gave me these seedlings that you're seeing in this garden. So when I began to plant this garden, I didn't use any fertilizers. But after 2 weeks, I applied some fertilizers. So I reduced the grass by spraying. I didn't want to do that, but sometimes you have so much work, and again, you don't want the grass to continue affect your grass. So I use that chemical, but I won't use it again. So now I'm going to dig through so that this pepper can grow and start to gain momentum in its growth. I have a lot of hope that this garden is going to really make it. And given the fact that we are in the rainy season and they've been able to survive, so they are going to make it. So do you have help? You use some money, because even my kids are at school right now. So you put in some money and hire some help. But you also have to come and work, because when you do not do the work too, you will get charged heavily. So you come and do some work too, and then they don't have to charge you a lot to help you. So we're asking about some of the leaves were drying. So we're wondering whether it's because of the chemical that was sprayed to kill the grass. So Mr. Del Gracious was telling us that Mr. Chowe's garden is targeting the hot season. So in the hot season, in January, a lot of pepper will be harvested in this place. The only thing that this pepper is missing is some heat and also to dig through. So during the hot season, while other gardens will be suffering, this pepper will be looking healthy. It will be ready for harvest. It will be producing heavily. By the time we visited this garden, we were in November. And according to Mr. Mobi, this garden was going to be ready for harvest in January and February, which is normally a very hot season. So when he digs through, that will be the revival for the rest of the plants on this plantation. So after digging through, he will have to spray. Then the pepper will start looking good. What has caused some of the damage on the leaves is this chemical that he used to subdue the grass. So now he has to use dudu-acelementine to help the leaf to clear. So he has not been spraying. I sprayed yesterday. It was my first time. I sprayed Harvest and Acelementine. I didn't use the white harvester. I used this harvester which you mix with Dyson. Which fertilizer did you use? I used urea. Now urea will help the growth, but it does not clean and clear the leaf. I have not been spraying, so this was the first spraying. How long has it been since you planted these in the garden? It's about a month. They first started turning yellowish, so I applied some fertilizers in the soil. So in those weeks you have not been spraying, apart from them turning yellowish. So what could have caused the yellowing was lack of fertilizers and also the water, because the water would collect in the holes of each plant when you look at this garden, it really had that greenish coating, which was the mapping of water, which means during the rainy season, water was collecting in this hole because the area collects water easily. That's why he's targeting to grow in the hot season. Now, before you planted, was this a forest that you cleared? No, we had some other plants on this garden before planting pepper. In this place, I had beans, as you can see right there. I had beans. So it's used land, it's not fresh land. So now we are coming back on our old crop after growing other crops. How long has it been since coming back to pepper? This is the first time. These crops, these seedlings are my first time coming back to hot pepper. So you see this land, he even had to make trenches to allow water to flow from the garden. The spacing was done perfectly, as you can see. So he's just picking up on caring for this garden. I'm very hopeful that this garden is going to really benefit me. So the water caused that coloration, that white greenish coloring. But the water dried up after that. The water was a lot. That's why I even had to make these trenches to allow the water to move. So this was his garden. It was still young, but it's really promising. This is Mr. Chobe's garden.
Almost